All right, so there's guys out there who are extremely insecure, right? They can't even go out without having like the perfect hairstyle, and they want abs, so they starve themselves, but they don't even want abs for themselves. They just want it so they can get more dates, more Tinder matches, whatever it is, right? For external approval, right? And they may be on all the dating apps and they're getting no matches right now, and they're just dying to find a way to get that approval that they desire so deeply. Whereas there's other guys out there who are just themselves, and they seem to be doing better than the former guy in just about every aspect of life, from dating to socialization to career, whatever it may be, right? I'm going to talk about the difference here specifically. We're going to focus on the dating side, and I'll talk about the number one reason, at least in my experience, that you have zero game. The former guy that I just described was basically me, right? It was me. I'm in a much better place now. I'm not saying I still don't have my struggles with insecurities, etc. I do, but I'm in a much better place now. So I'm going to talk about the number one thing, number one realization that I've come to, and I really hope this will help you out. Without further ado, let's dive into it. I remember clearly, I was sitting in my room, right? And I'm on my phone. And I'm on all the dating apps, and it's a wasteland. I'm getting no matches, no messages, nothing, right? Even if I get a match, I'd message them and then they're like unmatched, right? So I was like, this sucks. So I went on this like extremely motivated fitness journey, right? Where I was like, okay, I'm just gonna commit myself to looking as sexy as possible. I'm gonna get abs, and then I bet my dating apps will blow up, right? So I did that. I got in great shape, and I did start getting more matches, so that's a plus, right? But when I would go out on dates, I'd still sometimes get rejected, or maybe the date wouldn't go well. That would send me in a negative thought spiral. I would think, oh, why did I get rejected? Was my jawline not looking sharp enough? Was I not lean enough? Was I not big enough? Were my muscles not looking good? Like, yeah, and I would get caught in these negative thought cycles like this, right? And this leads me to the main point of why you have zero game. It's because you value the opinions of others more so than you value your quality of life and your opinion of yourself. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, these tendencies that at least I had, right, of like constant approval seeking. I was putting the approval of others over my quality of life. Like I was starving myself to get abs. I didn't even really care about getting abs, right? I felt like I looked skinny. I felt like I looked frail, but I just wanted the abs so bad to get the approvals. I was literally starving myself, right, trying to get these abs. Another example is, doing putting off things that I actually wanted to do. Like I wanted to fight for a long time, do boxing for a long time, but I never felt I was like the fighting personality, right? So I would put it off. So I was like, oh, what if I look goofy in the gym? I don't want to look goofy. And what if people make fun of me? What if it's awkward? Right? Right? Things like this. And even my social life, like my social life still isn't great. This is something I'm actively trying to work on now. But for a long time, that I avoided putting myself out there. I was like, oh, what if I'm awkward? What if I'm goofy? What will people think? And that script has to flip to where, okay, maybe people will think I'm awkward, whatever. Right? The point is, why am I valuing that more so than the improvements in my quality of life that I desire so deeply, right? If I want to be a good fighter, who gives a shit what if someone makes fun of me? So what? So what? I give a shit about, am I improving? Yes or no, right? So I can understand why it's so easy to fall into this pattern of approval seeking, right? Especially if, with some of these toxic communities online, like the Black Pill, which if you don't know about, honestly, I'd encourage you not to go there, right? But there are people who say, "Oh, it's all about looks, bro. It's like nothing else matters in dating. If you don't look the part, just give up, bro." Like, no, take that thought throw out the window. We don't listen to those people. They're putting a train of thought on us that's not going to serve us whatsoever, right? Whatsoever. It's a toxic community. There are many other toxic communities like it, which make similar blanket statements, and they're useless. You and I are concerned with actual improvement, not some sort of pity party, right? So we're not going to pay attention to them. Now, at least if you're anything like the old me, this is honestly the number one piece of advice I could give. And if you feel maybe what I'm saying is BS or it doesn't really apply to you, hey, who knows? Maybe it doesn't, right? Maybe you're not exactly like the old me. But here's what I'd invite you to think about. If you find yourself thinking, oh, my dating life is, sucks because I'm not good looking enough, right? If you find yourself thinking things like this, look at other aspects of your life. Are you in a similar situation where maybe you wanted to do boxing? If it's not boxing, whatever it may be, right? Maybe it's ballet. That's considered like a very non-alpha activity, for lack of a better term, right? And maybe you're putting off doing that because people will think I'm not like a man. I'm not like an alpha male, bro. You know. Never mind the fact that a lot of boxers actually have done ballet and stuff if you look at their history. But anyway, that's a side tangent. So Look at other aspects of your life. Are you avoiding putting yourself out there in social situations? Right? Are you avoiding putting yourself out there in anything else that you may want to do because, again, you're worried about others' opinions more than what you want out of your life? Right? Think about that. And if you find this pattern where it's like, oh yeah, I have been avoiding this thing. Oh yeah, I also am putting myself out in social situations. Oh yeah, then this idea that you have that, you know, that again, this is at least how I thought. So I don't want to put this blanket statement on you and say you think this way. But what I was thinking back then was, oh, I'm sad and life sucks because I can't get dates, right? And I feel very unattractive, right? So I was putting my attention on the wrong idea. It wasn't that life was, shitty because I couldn't get dates. It was because, again, I was putting the valuing the opinions of others more than my opinion of myself. But I was thinking in the short-sighted way where if I had just stepped back for a minute, I would see, hey, this is not just happening in my dating life. This is also happening in my social life. This is also happening in this. This is literally happening in every aspect of my life, right? I'm doing things, I'm making decisions in my life because my family wants me to make those. It's not what I want to do, right? So, and I was just using that as an example. But again, the point I'm making is just take a step back for a second and see, is this a pattern? Right? Because maybe your dating life sucks, but everything else is good. Then okay, maybe none of this applies to you. But again, if you see that pattern where it's like, hey, this applies to my dating life. Oh, but it's also over here. Oh, it's also over here. Then this may be the problem. Now, the number one thing I've kind of come to realize is neediness is one of those things that just drives people away. Right? I'm not sure what it is about us as human beings, but when someone is needy and like that, it just repels people, whether guy, girl, whatever it may be. It repels them. Right? And when I was in this place, in that old place, I just couldn't see it. I wish someone had just, everything I'm saying right now, I wish someone had just said this to me. Now, one example I can give, which will hopefully drive this point home, is one thing that I would concern myself with is like, oh, how long should you wait to text back? For example, this is a common pattern I think that people worry about in the dating world. Oh, if someone texts me, I text back right away, that'll look thirsty. You know, what looks thirsty is being thirsty. Does that make sense? Because if someone is not thirsty, say like you look up to someone, you think they're great, they're awesome, they're the shit, right? If they text you, you text them, they text you back like 2 seconds later. Are you gonna be like, ooh, that person's thirsty? Or are you gonna be like feeling you're on cloud nine because you really look up to this person, you think they're awesome? Do you get what I'm saying? So if you're a thirsty person, it will just come out. It will come out one way or another, no matter how much tactics you try. Oh, I'm gonna text back in 24 hours, and I'm gonna have like alpha body language, and doesn't matter. If deep down inside you are a thirsty person because again and again you have that pattern in your life where you're constantly valuing opinions of others over your own, it will come out. You can try these tactics of, oh, I'm going to text 24 hours later. Doesn't matter. And conversely, if deep down inside, internally, you are not a thirsty person, just that's it. It's regardless of whether you text back 1 second later or 25 hours later, the thirstiness will just not come off because you're not a thirsty person. You get what I'm saying? So I hope that made sense. Now, I just want to end this video off by saying, hey, be kind to yourself throughout this process. This is not an easy journey whatsoever, right? Now, the number one thing I kind of want to point at is all of us seek approval, at least to a certain extent, right? If not sometimes a major extent. It's just human nature. Sometimes you're feeling really crummy. You need the support of family and friends. And so we all need approval, right? So I'm not trying to say just to like throw approval out the window and like never think about it. That's not what I'm saying, right? But I understand when you're in that position, again, if you're in a similar position to the old me, when you're in that position, how difficult it can be to let it go, how difficult it can be to start putting yourself out there and realizing that now I'm opening myself up to rejections. Right now I'm opening myself up to rejection, and those rejections do hurt, right? It is true that most of the time they have nothing to do with you. I agree with that, but that doesn't change the fact that they do hurt. Right? So be kind to yourself throughout this process. Be proud of yourself every single day for showing up. The metric for success has to change. The metric of success should no longer be if I went on a date or I went out, put myself out there in whatever situation. The metric of success should not be, did I get approval? Right? Because now it's external. And as soon as that approval goes away, you'll feel bad again. The metric of success should be, did I put myself out there? Did I express myself? Right? If I was on a date, because remember, a date is a two-way street. right? Again, my previous me was just like over there, oh, I hope you like me. I hope you like me. It's like, no, it's a two-way street. Next time you go out on a date to see, instead of thinking, oh, I hope they like me, think, is there going to be compatibility there? That's what I'm going out to check, right? Just as one example. But again, I understand when you're in that position, how difficult it can be to work through this. I'm literally working through this stuff right now, right? I'm 25 now. I've spent 24 and a half years of my life probably seeking approval, right? So it's as hard as it is to open yourself up to being disliked. It's one of the most life changing things that has ever happened to me in a positive way, right? Again, it has come with its hurts and it'll probably continue to come with its hurts, right? But it's changed my life drastically in a positive way. But anyway, be kind to yourself and be proud of yourself every single time you put yourself out there, right? Think positively, be proud of yourself every single time you put yourself out there. And I'm telling you, this will improve your life greatly, right? And not just that, this will improve your dating life. I'm confident of it. I can give you one example, which is a fairly recent one, where I went on a date and I was like completely honest about who I am. I was like, yeah, I don't even know how these topics came up, but I talked about like my insecurities, struggles with insecurity, struggle with anxiety, all that stuff, right? And that date and the subsequent dates ended up being some of the best dates I've ever had. And that person who I went on a date with, like, she would be literally, we'd hang out. By the time I'd get home, I'd already have texts waiting for me, right? It didn't end up working out in the long run, and that's a different story. But the point I'm making is, where previously I would have thought, okay, talking about that would repel another person. In this instance, I talked about it because that was just, again, that's the genuine me, right? These are my struggles. These are things I've struggled with. And I ended up getting a positive result. So, again, be proud of yourself every single time you put yourself out there. And I just want you to imagine for a second, imagine you take this advice, you run with it, and your dating life is improving day by day by day, right? Your happiness is improving day by day by day, because now no longer, when you go out in social situations or go out on dates, this metric of success is, oh, I hope they like me. And if someone doesn't like you, you're like, go into a negative thought cycles. That's no longer the metric. And you can just go out and freely express and enjoy yourself. And most importantly, your confidence in yourself is improving day by day by day. Imagine that. And that's the path you're on. Hey, keep working hard. I believe in you, but what I believe doesn't matter. What you believe matters. So I hope you believe in yourself too. That's all I got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Ultimately, I want this to be our positive little community where we help each other, support each other, and help each other get to the next level in life. So please come join the community. I'll leave my Instagram, TikTok in the description, also somewhere here. Please do support there as well. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. It greatly fuels my ego. And I'll talk to you later. Peace.